recommendation. These are the 7 steps which are very important for every research. The subject of research work is an intimate subject for all of us. There are many aspects to research. Dr. Nitin Darkunde, Associate Professors of Mathematics, Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, is present today as a resource person to provide in-depth guidance in this regard. Respected sir, welcome to this webinar. On behalf of this college and on the behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome Dr. Nitin Darkunde sir. Today's speakers are renowned researcher and student-friendly professor. Introducing the speaker is the formality of the event. In order to give detailed introduction of the speaker of this session, I request my colleague, Dr. Jyoti Kote Madam, to introduce respected Dr. Darkunde sir, Nitin Darkunde sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all dignitaries, participants, and social media. Myself, Dr. Jyoti Ramesh Kote, Assistant Professor at Department of Commerce in this college. Respected faculty members and research scholars, today is the third day of 3 days International Interdisciplinary Webinar on recent trends in research writing, organized by Accuracy and Research Center, Department of Commerce. I feel proud to introduce and welcome today's resource person, Honorable Dr. Nitin Darkunde sir. Dr. Nitin Darkunde sir, working as an assistant professor, DST, first sponsored School of Mathematical Science, Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. He is MSc in Mathematics, SET, GATE, and PhD. Sir has having 12-year experience as a postgraduate and 6 months as an undergraduate level. Till date, Sir has taught group theory, real analysis, complex analysis, linear algebra, functional analysis, representation theory of finite group, cumulative algebra, cryptography, and calculus, etc. Sir has so far worked on 2 research projects and still is working on 1 research project. He has delivered in all 65 lectures, national and state level seminars, conference, and workshops, as well as the service they provide during the COVID-19 pandemic is carried out the work of quality, check of translate e-contents of Swayam NPTEL online courses and work as counseling officer in certain containment zones of Nanded district during COVID-19 pandemic. He has also coordinator of Swayam and mock courses at Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. Also, Sir was and is working various positions like as a rector, warden, regional coordinator, member secretary at university level, anti-ragging committee, Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded, and chairman of accommodation committee, etc. In his student life, he got the best award during the final year of BSc, as well as Best Paper Award in 2011, Best Paper Presentation Award, National and International Conference, as well as he got it state level Super 30 Best Teacher Award in 2021, awarded by Shabdagandha Social Foundation, Baramati. So I have tried my level best to introduce Dr. Nitin Darkunde sir in less possible words. Finally, I thankful to the Honorable Dr. Principal Vasant Bhosle sir and organizing committee for giving the introductory speech of resource person for the function. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jyoti madam. And now I request to Honorable Dr. Nitin Thakur to kindly express his views on the subject. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you, madam. First of all, I would like to thank all the authorities of your college, especially Honorable Dr. Vasant Bhosle sir, for giving me an opportunity. I have been to your college on couple of occasions before Corona pandemic and delivered a couple of lectures. So today's theme is, so some days back, I have a call from your college that in order to deliver a talk on this international webinar. So it is generally we people are, I am a teacher of mathematics, so and to guide to such kind of heterogeneous kind of book, it indeed a very Herculean kind of task, but still I will try to shoulder this responsibility in a best possible way. Okay, so let me just share my screen. So since there is some internet issue at in the university, I am taking the lecture from home, so in order to save that, I will just stop my video so that internet can be used in a best possible way. So let me just share the screen. So is presentation visible? Is
Yes,
screen
sir.
visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So I have prepared this presentation by using one of the mathematical tools. So earlier, the topic assigned to me was mathematical tools in research. But since I have seen a timetable, so whatever mathematical tools I need to be taken, had already been taken by some respected speakers in our international webinar. So I thought that I should take I should just combine different kind of aspects and represent them as some aspects of research. Okay, so whatever slide presentation I have prepared is also I prepared along with the help of one of the mathematical tool that which is called as LaTeX. I will come to that later on. So let me just start with this. So first of all, I would like to ask one simple question. The question is like this. So yeah. Okay, fine. So first, we will try to see what is the necessity of scientific writing of research paper. Research paper is scientific writing ही का आवश्यक आहे. So first of all, we should able to do independently write a research article is a common expectation from PhD students as well as early career researchers. If you are able to write down our research paper more scientifically, then the possibility of getting recognitions at international level as well as getting a research project as well as good quality publications is very much helpful for that. And if you have good publications during your PhD, the chances of getting for good position at for postdoc in renowned institutions like IIT, ISCTF, or some universities abroad becomes very much easy. That's why scientific writing of a research paper is of utmost importance. So publishing is vital. It is a way to share work with other researchers to possibly advance careers and to secure funding for the next research stage. So what kind of research articles are there? So first is research article. The next is we can write a review paper. Then next, if we present some paper in a conference, then that paper used to come in a conference proceedings. And lastly, in order to get a grants or once we complete some minor research project or major research project from, let's say, university or let's say from UGC or DST, then submitting their findings in the form of research paper is also mandatory nowadays. So in that respect, the scientific writing of research paper is very much important. So the next question may come your mind, when is the best time to start writing? So it is subject to the internal group policies and individual practices. Then the nature of scientific process involves continuous assessment and the evaluation of hypothesis. And one of the approach is often adopted is that writing is a part of the process. And lastly, all the results and findings are gathered in the written form. So the question may come to your mind that how to proceed with the writing. So if you want to write down a research article, how to proceed with this? Yeah. So first thing we should do is that we should start writing constraints without the constraints of considering the writing style and formatting in the first versions of the text. So for example, let me just share one research paper. Are you able to see one research paper now? Yes, please comment. रिसर्च पेपर दिसतोय सर्वांना? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, so if you come across such kind of research paper, it is a paper from which is published in Journal of Mathematical Analysis and Applications, whose title is Inequalities for the Generalized Trigonometric and Hyperbolic Functions. So as soon as you see this research paper, we intend to write our article in this fashion. So what I'm saying, at very first level, it's not mandatory to write article as per the style. Okay, first you should jot down your ideas, you should jot down your findings, and then accordingly you need to write down. Okay, so next is one should ask the following questions before writing the manuscript. आपण रिसर्च पेपर लिहिण्याच्या पहिले आपण स्वतःला काही प्रश्न विचारले पाहिजे. So what is the first thing? What is the main message of this work? So what is the main motto of our work that we are supposed to do? Then why does it matter and why should the reader care? Okay, and the next is how do the main findings or data support the message. So whatever I am going to find or whatever theorem in terms of mathematics that I am going to prove, how will it going to support the message? So these are the things we should ask to ourselves before writing the manuscript. So next thing, structure of a research article. So for example, let me just share that paper once again. Yeah, so you can just see that this is a paper which is published in Journal of Mathematical Analysis and Applications. So this is the title. Yeah, this is these are three authors, and here there is some article info. So for example, let me just magnify it a little bit so that you'll able to see it properly. Yeah, so first is article history. In article history, they used to, so it varies according to journal. For example, is elsewhere journal, the article history in the journal article history is written over here, and there are some keywords. So here is abstract. Abstract means what? Abstract means a short, so whatever we are going to do in our research paper, whatever our findings, we are going to write them in a concise manner. Then whatever or whatever theorems that you approved, that should come. So this is in general your structure of a research article. The first is title, the next is title, then abstract, then keywords. So these are the words which we are used quite often during our research papers and which forms the important part of our research paper. The next is introduction section. Which papers we are used, and accordingly the basic material which will be useful for the development of research paper. The next is experimental section. So experimental section, I'm writing this by taking care of the faculty members from physics, chemistry, and biological sciences. Then lastly, should be written, and at the end there should be conclusion. Yeah, what is the conclusion of our research? And the next references, what references do. So for example, you can just see over here. So I have shown you this research paper, and in this research paper, you can just see that they have stated some open problem. Open problem means what? So open problem means these are the problems which will be useful for further researchers to solve. And lastly, there is acknowledgement. So for example, you know that nowadays students who are pursuing PhD, they are getting Maulana Azad National Fellowship, or let's say a Fellowship of Bharti, or recently Sarthi Fellowship or Mahajiri Fellowship. If they are getting a financial assistance from such kind of institutes, then they should acknowledge them here. Okay, then at the last there used to come references. So this is the general structure. So I already talked about this. Then core steps in scientific writing. So what are the core steps in scientific writing? The first is define the key message of the article and convert it into a tentative title that will evolve. म्हणजे आपल्याला काय करायचं, आपण त्या पूर्ण रिसर्च पेपर मध्ये काय करणार आहोत, तर थोडक्यात त्याच्यापासून एक टायटल एक तयार करायचा. ठीक आहे. Then they draft an outline of key bullet points with the tentative title and authors. Okay, Then select an appropriate journal for the article and adjust all the sections accordingly. So let me just show you one, for example, let me just come over here. I'll just write down one name of this is just Google. I hope screen is visible to all of you. Yeah. So suppose I will just write down one journal whose name is SEMA journal. So are you able to see, Kote madam? Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying, we need to select a journal according to our choice. So for example, this is one name of a journal whose name is SEMA journal. Then here you can just see they used to give some submission guidelines, then ethics and disclosure. So what is the meaning of open access, fees and funding, contact the journal. So but what is important as far as my आपण एक साचा म्हणतो तो साचा आपण कशा पद्धतीने वापरणार. So that thing is there. So we need to select an appropriate journal for the article and adjust all the sections accordingly. म्हणजे बघा जर्नल वाईज प्रत्येक म्हणजे तुम्ही एकच पेपर वेगवेगळ्या जर्नलच्या here this is a paper which is published in a elsewhere journal, and one more paper is there which is published in a Springer journal. Okay, this is one more paper. So here you can just see that. Yeah. So here author's name is given here, but their affiliations are given downstairs. And if you go here, the author's affiliations are also given on here. So journal style used to differ from journal to journal. So you need to select an appropriate journal which falls into the category of your intended research. Then we need to write down the experimental section of the article, summary of methods, materials, and main analysis. Then we need to illustrate the main outline points by figures that involve schematics and data often. So for example, if you are doing suppose some faculty member of social sciences, he or she is doing a PhD, or he or she has done some data collection, then it's always good to interpret that data by applying some statistical states and interpret the results by using some graphs that will be always used to comprehend. Okay, then next we need to write down the discussion that present the main findings and the figures of the article and refer to the appropriate references. And at the end we need to write down the conclusion of whatever discussion that we did in the entire paper that summarizes the findings. So after we did all these things, we need to revise the article with respect to the language. Yeah, we need to be very much careful about the languages, the format, whether our paper is according to the format journal, whether we are consistent, and overall coherence. Okay, so the next is journal finder and journal suggestions tools. Okay, so see, choosing a journal is very much important. So for example, let me just show you once again. So I told you this is one of the journal, SEMA journal. It is the bulletin of the Spanish Society of Applied Mathematics. So here you can just see so they used to give aim and scope. So if I click here on aim and scope, I will get to know म्हणजे या एम आणि स्कोप वर मी क्लिक करा मला काय कळतं की हे जर्नल मध्ये कोणत्या प्रकारचे पेपर मॅथमॅटिक्स मध्ये पण दोन पार्ट असतात. सो अप्लाइड मॅथमॅटिक्स अँड प्युअर मॅथमॅटिक्स. सो वी नीड टू see over here whether our whatever research topic falls into the aims and scopes of this journal or not. So moreover, some journals are used to charge some fees, which is called the article processing charges. Some journals are open access. So the information about that can be found out over here. So for example, you can just see here for authors there are submission guidelines. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी तुम्ही कशा प्रकारे तुमचं आर्टिकल दिलं पाहिजे, तुमच्या आर्टिकल साठी असणारं टेम्पलेट, वर्ड टेम्पलेट असेल किंवा लॅटेक्स टेम्पलेट दिलेलं असेल. Then what are ethics and disclosure and open access fees and funding. So that kind of things are being given over here. So we must be very meticulous while choosing a journal to which we are supposed to submit our research article. There are two types of journals, namely first is subscription based and another is open access. Okay, so there are also they are just only electronic only. That means they're not used to send you the hard copy of the PDF of your research papers. So each journal has a different set of criteria which must be considered for submission. प्रत्येक जर्नलचा एक वेगळा क्रायटेरिया असतो बघा, त्या पद्धतीने आपण आपलं सबमिशन केलं पाहिजे. So I already told you that there are two kinds of journals. One is subscription based, another is open access. For subscription based journal, article submission, peer review and publications are free. But if we want to have a full article, if you want to get a full article, meaning of subscription based journal, then there is another kind of way is open access article. For submission to open access articles, it often requires the payment of an article processing charges, but it involves the full article access once published. So here in these two bullets, his first bullet and this second bullet, I have distinguished between subscription based journal and open access journal. So then the question may come to your mind, how much is the article processing charges? So APC used to vary. APC means article processing charges used to vary according to journal. So for example, if you go over here, so you can just click, this is EMA journal. I will click it over here. Okay. So once I click it over here, you can just see that there are article processing charges. Okay. Authors who choose to publish open access in same journal are required to pay an article processing charges. So they used to do sometimes. So if we belong to SARC countries, for example, India is a SARC country, so they used to waive off some of the article processing charges, and there are some other way which is also what is called as open access funding. So these are the two ways via which you can think of submitting your article to a research journal. Okay, so the next is we should be very much careful while doing a journal selection, the avoidance of pseudo journals or let's say predatory journals. So for example, let me just show you a website of UGC Care. So UGC Care, yeah. So this is the UGC. So everybody knows that nowadays, if you want to get a PhD, yeah. So during PhD, you should your publication should be at least in UGC Care listed journals. So this is the website of UGC Care. So let it open. Yeah. So I hope you are able to see. So here you can just see that there's a list of journals which is being given, list of clone journals. Okay. So let me just click it over here. So what I'm saying, you should avoid your publications in such kind of journal. For example, see, so print journal. So print journal, what is the name of journal? So title is, let's say here's Abru, but the clone journal, which is not in a UGC Care list, they also have the same kind of title. Even you can just see, you will wonder that their ISSN here and ISSN here is also same. So these are some sort of fake journals. Yeah. So you should avoid publishing your manuscript in such kind of journal. You should not. So while whenever you want to submit your article, you should check thoroughly whether the journal to which you are supposed to submit your article is not a clone journal, and what is the best possible source as far as India is concerned. You should go on a University of Pune's website where you can just find out UGC Care listed journals. Okay, so what I'm saying, you should be very much careful. You should remain away from pseudo journals. Yeah, even though they have peer review process, even though they are claiming that their impact factor is very much high, we should often avoid publications in such kind of journals. So this is just a screenshot of whatever I just shown. Okay, so the next is publishing in an irreputable journal can also hinder career advancement and negatively affect the research field. So for example, if you publish your article in an journal which is not reputed, yeah, which is not reputed, or which is some problematic kind of journal, so it may affect your CAS also. So career advancement scheme means this CAS. You know that for CAS also you need to publish your papers, research papers, and those papers should also be peer reviewed as well as UGC Care. So peer reviewed also work, but nowadays publishing in a UGC Care listed is become very important. Okay, so next is, if you choose a higher impact factor journals, they used to commonly target a more general audience and thereby request more accessible language. Okay, so I will come to this word impact factor later on. Okay, so the next is referencing. So I just shown you. So for example, come over here. This is the paper which is published in one journal whose name is Cryptography and Communications, which is a Springer publication. So these are the references. So now the question may come to your mind, what kind of referencing there? So what is the easiest way to find out the referencing? So let me just go on a website of, I will just click it on a Google Scholar. Once I go on a Google Scholar, I will just click it over here. I hope you are able to see Google Scholar. And suppose I have an article. I'll just paste it over here. Okay, and I will click it. Once I click it, you can just see that the name of the article is Quantum Codes from 1-Point Codes on Norm Trace Curves. You can just see here site. There is one name whose name is site. You just need to click it over here. Once you click it over here, you will get different referencing style. For example, MLA, this style is there. The next is APA. The next is Chicago. The next is Harvard. Next is Vancouver. So these are the different referencing style. You don't need to write down all references manually. Yeah. So I still seen so many people's, they used to write references manually. You don't need to do so. You need to go on a Google Scholar website. You need to paste a name of a paper which you are supposed to use as a reference, and you need to choose the style of referencing which is suitable for your journal. Okay, so that the same thing I have just mentioned on here, referencing styles: Vancouver, APA, MLA, Chicago, Harvard. Okay, so if you go by journal by journal, for example, see this is here. What they did over here, you can just see over here, they have written Barrett W. That means as if like it is a surname followed by initials. Okay, surname followed by initial. But if I go in some another journal, this journal is of publication elsewhere. What they did over here, you can just see that here they have first given initials and then they have given the surname. These are the different kinds of things in a referencing style. Okay, so let me just go further. Yeah, so the same screenshot I just pasted over here, so that later on if you require this PPT, I can forward to all of you. Okay, then research paper, then steps involved in research paper writing. The first is,
सच में अपने अंतर मन में झांक कर देखना और बोलना।
can you just mute? Somebody is making a noise, please. Yeah, so is screen visible or not? Somebody's in a chat box, somebody is saying can't see. Kote madam, whether screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
PPT is visible, but whatever you are doing on Google Scholar, that is not visible.
So you should have told me at that moment, please. Okay, मला सांगत चला. You may disturb me. No issue. Okay.
Okay,
Let me
sir.
just show you. Let me just show you on Google Scholar once again. So it was not visible. So let me just. Yeah. I will just show it over here. Yeah. So now is it visible? Google Scholar.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
या ओके. तर मी सांगत काय होतो बघा, तुम्हाला समजा एखादा पेपर तुम्ही तुमच्या संशोधन पत्रिकेमध्ये रिसर्च पेपर करण्यामध्ये वापरलाय आणि त्या पेपरचा रेफरन्स तुम्हाला लिहायचा आहे तुमच्या रिसर्च पेपरमध्ये सगळ्यात शेवटी, तर ते टाईप करत बसायचं नाही. सो फॉर एक्झाम्पल हा पेपर तुम्ही वापरलाय, सो यू नीड टू कॉपी इट, यू नीड टू पेस्ट इट ओव्हर हिअर. ओके, तुम्ही या ठिकाणी पेस्ट करता. या ठिकाणी साईट नावाचं एक ऑप्शन दिसतोय बघा, साईट किंवा हे अवतरण चिन्ह दिसतं, या ठिकाणी क्लिक करायचं बघा. यू नीड टू क्लिक इट ओव्हर हिअर and according to your journal style, if your journal is saying that use MLA style, you can just copy it from here. You can copy and paste it in your template of your journal. Are you getting? Yes.
Yes.
I hope. Yeah. The same
Yes,
APA style is there, then Chicago style is there, then Harvard style is there, Vancouver style is there. Even I can get some here text file also. Okay, I will come to about text file later on. Don't worry. If at all anything is not visible, please you may disturb me at that instance. Okay, so now I will go back to my presentation. I think now presentation is visible. Okay, so next
Yes.
is steps involved in writing research paper. First is assignment clarification. So we should be very much we should clarify to ourselves what we need to what assignment we need to do. Then we should do a proper time management. Yeah, because see, publishing an article in a reputed journal, it's a time consuming process. So for example, if you submit your, for example, let's see, I will just show you, where is that, I think, yeah. Yeah, so this is a, journal. This is a journal, okay, in which you can just see that it is article is issued on 5th of November. Article is issued on 5th of November, so on 12. Then it is available online on what, 19 July 2013. So roughly 6 to 7 months it's used to take a time. So let me just show you one more journal, one more paper which I'm showing you right from the beginning. So this you can just see over here. So this paper, this manuscript is issued on 14 January 2017 and it's accepted on 14 September and it is published online on 26th of September. So what I'm saying, and both of them are very reputed journal. So publishing article in a reputed journal is a quite time consuming process. So we should try to try to do a proper time management. Okay, so the next is we should you should do a brainstorming. For example, if you are 2-3 colleagues doing your research under a same guide, then you should there should be good brainstorming session along your colleagues, along with your guide, so that good conclusion can be drawn. Okay, the next is library visit. For example, as far as chemistry is concerned, you know that there is one of the famous laboratory called as NCL, National Chemical Laboratory, which is at Pune. Or for all other sciences, you can just see that ICER Pune in Maharashtra, as well as IIT Mumbai in Maharashtra. So these are the big institutes or top-notch institutes which are available very near to us. By the way, ICER stands for Indian Institute of Science Education Research, and IIT stands for Indian Institute of Technology. So what I'm saying, so it may possible that you require some manuscripts or you require some books which are not available in your college library. So you may visit such kind of top-notch institute to their library, and you can use the library for referencing purpose. Yeah, you may find out the research books or monographs which are suitable for your research in that corresponding library. Then you need to locate and you select your resources. Okay, so for example, if you are a social scientist or if you are doing the research in a social science, then you need to define your area. If you are from commerce background, yeah, then you need to so I think most of the thesis in which they are defined the area. So you need to locate and select the sources, then survey sources. Then you need to read the articles on which by using which you are going to prepare your article. You need to do a proper outline, you need to draft a paper, then you need to show to your supervisor, then according to his suggestions, according to your colleague's suggestion, you need to draft you need to revise the paper. So one more thing that I would like to point to all of you is this. You might have heard about this archive, or let me just open the website of archive. So what is this archive? Okay. Yeah. So I'll just write down over here archive. Okay, so I'll just click it over here. Generally, most of the faculty members from science background, they used to publish their article on an archive before sending to a journal. So what is this? Archive is a free distribution service and open access archive for these many scholarly articles in the fields of physics, mathematics, computer science, quantitative biology, quantitative finance, statistics, and so on. Okay, त्यात काय करतात बघा, आपण केलेलं काम जे आहे ते सर्वप्रथम म्हणजे काय होतं, कधी कधी suppose I am working on one problem, and suppose somebody else from Parabani also working on the same problem in the field of mathematics. Okay, so it might happen that I did that work, I completed that work, let's say on 20th of May. Let's say suppose I completed that work on 20th of May, and if I send it to archive, on the same day, and suppose on 21st of May somebody from Parabani has published the same kind of thing, then the what I'm saying, that article will belong to me. म्हणजे आर्टिकलची मालकी हक्क कोणाला मिळतो? मला मिळतो. कारण मी काय केलंय, सर्वात प्रथम त्या परभणीच्या रिसर्चच्या आधी मी 20 मेच्या दिवशी आर्काइव्ह वरती ते आर्टिकल माझं पोस्ट केलंय. सो people are using this archive repository too much, for before sending the paper to a research paper to a journal. Okay, so fine. So this is there. So let me just go further. Yeah, next is research writing process continued. Okay, so now the question may come to your mind, with which journal we should begin with. So first we should judge whether your topic falls under the scope of that journal or not. For example, if I am researcher of uh, pure mathematics, and if I'm sending my paper to, let's say, applied mathematics, then the journal will not accept that paper. So we should be very much specific while judging or while deciding a journal to which we are intending to send a paper. Then we should, while doing so, we should discuss this with our supervisor, that means PhD guide or experts in our field. Then we should try for publishing a paper in a high impact factor journal. So now you might be knowing that in a as per API rules. So most of all of you, if you are teachers, most of you are knowing the API, academic pop-up indicator. It is very much useful in case if your paper have some impact factor, then marks in API are definitely high as compared to a paper which don't have any impact factor. Even if you see UGC guidelines, if your paper having impact factor greater than 1, then there are certain marks. Suppose X marks are there. If your paper is having impact factor greater than 2, then there are Y, suppose Y number of marks are there, then definitely Y number of marks are greater than X number of marks. म्हणजे थोडक्यात मला म्हणायचं काय बघा, जेवढा तुमच्या याचा इम्पॅक्ट फॅक्टर जास्त त्या जर्नलमध्ये तुमचा पेपर पब्लिश होते, तेवढे तुम्हाला एपीआय मध्ये मिळणारे मार्क देखील जास्त, तेवढाच तुम्हाला मिळणारा सन्मान देखील जास्त. ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट इज, इफ यू सिलेक्ट a journal which is wrong journal, okay, then what is this? So for example, if I'm a student of, if I'm a researcher of, let's say, pure mathematics, and if I'm sending my manuscript to applied mathematics, then my article will remain as pending. Yeah, so it will be a wastage of time. It will be a wastage of time. That's why I written here wastage of time. And ultimately, what that journal will do, after some days we will receive a message that our whatever manuscript we have sent, that do not falls into the category of that research journal, so they will not publish our paper. That's why that will be our failure in publication. Okay, so then next is this thing I already talked. Okay, so yeah, this is the publication process in journal. So let me just magnify it. So suppose our new submission, suppose I have submitted my article to one of the journal, then initial evaluation queue is there. Okay, then it goes to editorial meeting. If that article is not up to the mark, then immediately they will send you a rejection mail. That's why here initial rejection. If that article is suitable, then you will send it to review. Then there is again a second evaluation queue. So what I'm saying, then after that, again in editorial meeting, if still they found that whatever result that you have found or whatever thing you did, then they reject it. If they found it to be good, they will suggest some minor revisions. Then it will go to your it will go through a number of revisions, and if it is in accordance with the standards of that journal, then lastly they used to publish that manuscript. So this is the rough sketch of publication process in a journal. Okay, the next is research indices. So what is this? It is always good to send a paper to a journal which is indexed in Web of Science and Scopus. So what is this Web of Science and Scopus? These are some sort of repository. For example, let me just show you. Yeah, so I'm already on archive. So suppose, so how to find out where your journal is indexed? Yeah, suppose my journal name is, let's say, Applied Mathematics Letters. Yeah, so I click it over here. And it is a journal of elsewhere. I will click it here. Yeah, okay, so you can just see that this here all things are being given. For example, guide for authors, order journal. So what I want to see in which database it is indexed. So you can just see that abstracting and indexing, the journal has been indexed in, you can just see that here it is indexed in Scopus, it is indexed in Web of Science. Okay, so if you have seen that these are very standard databases, if you publish your journal in such kind of see the status of journals which are indexed in Web of Science or Scopus is definitely higher than those journals which are indexed in UGC, or those who are in a UGC care list. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to see is there are certain general metrics. For example, you can just see impact factor of the journal is 4.055, then time to first decision is 1.2 weeks. म्हणजे आपण पेपर सबमिट केला तर पहिल्या म्हणजे एक म्हणजे 8 ते 9 दिवसामध्ये तुम्हाला त्याचं पहिलं डिसिजन कळतं बघा. The review time is 1.5 week, then publication time is 1.1 week. So this is very rapid publication journal. Okay, so what I was saying that you should be very much specific. You should be very much specific about indexing of a journal. The same screenshot I just shown over here. Okay, so next, impact factor of journal. So what do you mean by impact factor? I just shown you that applied mathematics later journal has impact factor as, let's say, 4.05. We have just seen on that Google. Okay, so what is impact factor? The journal impact factor reflects the average number of citations to recent articles published in that journal. Okay, it is a measure of the relative importance of journal within its field. Okay, so if your journal has a very high impact factor, it is very, very important, not only for yourself but for overall development of your subject. If you are a person of chemistry and if you have published your paper in very high impact factor journals, so definitely it will be very much useful to the budding researchers in the field of chemistry. Okay, then how impact factor is calculated? So I think on the next slide I have also given the formula. Yeah, so I've taken this from Wikipedia. So this is the example of, if there are some students who are also attending this webinar, you might be knowing that nowadays one paper is mandatory for their coursework. What is that name of paper? Name of the paper is research ethics. Research ethics नावाच्या पेपर मध्ये तुम्हाला कोर्सवर्कला कंपल्सरी आहे बघा. त्यामध्ये इम्पॅक्ट फॅक्टर काय असतो, I10 इंडेक्स काय असतो, H इंडेक्स वगैरे वगैरे काय असतो, या बाबतीत तुम्हाला विचारलं जातं. So this is the impact factor. So for example, I'll just give an example. This is an impact factor. So it is calculated. So Nature is one of the best journal who had impact factor as 41.577 in 2017. How used to calculate? If you want to calculate the impact factor of 2017, then we need to, in the numerator, we need to take entire citations have been issued in year 2017 divided by addition of two things. What is the addition of two things? The first, publications in a previous year. So what is the previous year? Previous year to 2017 means 2016, and one more previous year. That means what is the previous year to 2016 is 2015. So we need to, so in general, impact factor of that journal is calculated in this way. Okay, so the next is, what is the use of impact factor? I already told you that publishing an high impact factor journal is always a good kind of thing. So first thing, we can judge a publication's quality or prestige by looking at impact factor. Okay, so we can assess the academic productivity. For example, so I have seen so many students from IIT, IC. Yeah, they have very few publications. Yeah, in the entire 5 years of their PhD. But even though they have one or two publications, they are very reputed kind of publications. So after that, as soon as they go for a job, they used to get a grants from very good funding agencies like Department of Science and Technology, then SERB, yeah, it is Science and Engineering Research Board. Okay, nowadays the funding from UGC is not. So what I'm saying, if your papers are published in a good impact factor journal, then it will assess your academic productivity. Okay, so okay, then you might have heard from so many days that from our Marathwada, especially from SRTMU campus, so many researchers name has been listed in a science database. Okay, even some people, some professors from Perbani also are there. Okay, so how their name used to figure in that kind of list? Their name is figured in that kind of list because they have published their papers in very reputed journals which are very high impact factor. Okay, yeah. So depending on good impact factor, we can choose where to publish our manuscript. Then we can evaluate an author or journal editor. Okay, then it is also used by libraries to make collection decisions. So for example, I'm working in a SRTMU Nanded. So if some good impact factor journal is there, so definitely I can recommend to a director of our knowledge research center to subscribe that journal to our library so that the budding mathematicians can take the benefit of that. So that is the use of impact factor. There are certain limitations also of impact factor. So for example, you might have come across some journals which are very reputed, but they are very less impact factor. But it doesn't mean that those journals are not good. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Impact factor reflect the journal rather than the article. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Then impact factor vary from year to year. Usually it is updated in September or October, and it is vary with time in numbers and ranking. Yeah, it can be also manipulated. For example, you might have seen so many local journals which are neither in which are not in UGC tier list, which are not in Scopus, and which are not in Web of Science. असे काही जर्नल आहेत बघा ते कशातच नाही आहेत, पण त्याचा इम्पॅक्ट फॅक्टर असतो 9.5 10 वगैरे वगैरे. तर अशा जर्नलला पेपर पाठवताना तुम्ही एक प्रकार म्हणजे काळजी केली पाहिजे किंवा एक प्रकारे व्यवस्थित शहानिशा केली पाहिजे की खरोखर ते जर्नल त्या क्वालिटीचं आहे की नाही. दॅट्स व्हॉट आय एम सेइंग दॅट impact factor can be manipulated. Okay, so the next is yeah, so this is I just talked. Yeah, alternatives for impact factor. So first thing, editor's reputation. Yeah, so for example, if you come across some journal whose editor is big mathematician or let's say big physicist, and even though that journal don't have an impact factor, but still you can think of publishing your manuscript in that journal. Why this is so? Because see, the editor of that journal already established his or her reputation in that chosen field. Okay, the next is editorial standards. If editorial standards are very high, then still, and even though that journal don't have that much impact factor, still you can think of publishing your manuscript in that journal. Yeah, then time from acceptance to publication. Okay, this is also very much important. And the next, acceptance rejection rate. Okay, so there are some alternatives for publishing your manuscript in a journal which don't have that much impact factor. Okay, the next is what you mean by H index. So let me just show you one page of Google Scholar. Okay, so I will go on again. I hope again this is visible. Yeah, this is visible. Okay, I will go in Google Scholar. Okay, so the question may come in your mind, where to find out this H index, then how many citations are there. So since yeah, before that, let me just ask you a very simple question. Yeah, okay, so wait, so here is the chat box. Yeah, so I'm posting something in chat box and I'm asking you one question. Okay, so everybody is requested to click on that link and just answer it. What is my question? I hope you are able to see the question. Question is this: to which faculty you belongs to? Yeah, there are 4 options. What is humanities, commerce, management? So I'll just give you 2 minutes. Yeah, immediately click in the chat box. I have posted a link in a chat box, and from that link, I'm asking you to answer. There are 4 options. So I could see 27 participants, but till this moment, only 3 guys are showing. सर्वांना एक विनंती आहे, चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये मी एक लिंक टाकली बघा, त्या लिंक वरती क्लिक करायचं आहे. त्या लिंक वरती क्लिक करून एक प्रश्न विचारला तुम्हाला त्या ठिकाणी बघा, त्या ठिकाणी मल्टिपल चॉईस प्रश्न विचारलाय की तुम्ही कुठल्या फॅकल्टी मध्ये आहेत. सो देर आर 27 पार्टिसिपंट्स बट ओनली 3. कोटे मॅडम, धनेश्वर सर.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So okay, so since people are not responding, I would like to ask you how many science people are there attending this webinar? Roughly.
All candidates from commerce background, means commerce
Okay.
side.
Yeah, okay, fine. So I'll just close down this link. I could see that nobody from interdisciplinary studies, nobody from science technologies, but out of 27, only 6 are voted. So most of the guys are from this commerce and management. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So fine. So fine. So this is also one more. Wait. Yeah. Okay. So let me just go to here. One more exercise that I would like to do is this. Okay. So I request all of you now. I'm going to paste one link once again in your chat box. Okay. What is my question? Question is this. Yeah. Everybody is requested to do it. Otherwise, this webinar or my session will not be fruitful. So what I'm saying, what comes in your mind as soon as you hear a word research. Okay. मी प्रश्न काय विचारलाय बघा आणि तुम्हाला त्यासाठी जास्तीत जास्त 3 ऑप्शन तुम्ही देऊ शकता. तुमच्या मनाने टाईप करायचे बघा. You need to click on this link. Yeah, you need to click on this link and after that you need to answer it. So what I'm saying, what comes in your mind as soon as you hear a word research. So all 27 or 28 participants are requested to make use of this. Please, fast. I'll give you 1 minute. रिसर्च हा शब्द ऐकला की तुमच्या मनात पहिली गोष्ट काय येते? Are you able to click on that link? Yeah, very good. Some people are saying,
sir.
yeah, only 2 people have responded. One is saying to find something new. Another saying is finding new things. Ajun बाकीच्यांनी करा की. There are so many people.
Sir, I am unable to open this link.
But some people have already opened. I think there might be a connection problem at your end. Okay, so fine. So yeah. So are you able to see the screen, the answers? So one is saying finding new things, another saying recall the information. The next something is saying research. So research means re plus search. Then many times then they are saying to find something new. So very good answers from most of you. Okay. So let me just go to next. So one more question that I would like to ask you this. Okay. Saying Naveen and Atmasat karne खूप छान. Okay. Yeah. So let me just go to the one more. Where is that? Wait for a moment. Yeah. Let me just ask you one more question. One more question and honest answer from each of you is this. Okay. Again, I'm going to paste one link. The latest link is this. Okay. I'm copying the link and I'm posting it in a chat box. Okay. And what is my question? My question is this. Among the following which come to you. So what I'm asking, H index and I10 index. H index and I10 index पैकी तुम्हाला कोणतं माहिती आहे? Okay. Yes. So there's one person who knows H index among all of you. Okay, 2 persons. Yeah, nobody yet know what is this I10 index. Okay.
So we have done this in
So take your time.
coursework.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but you did it, but most of the guys might not have did it. Yeah, that's what I am doing it. Okay, so fine. Only 3 guys are there. Okay, 4. Yeah, so fine. So what is H index? H index is the largest number H, so that H articles have at least H citations each. So those who did this in a course, ask question now. Okay? So if an author has 5 publications, with such citation, that means first article have 9 citations. Yeah. Then second paper has 7 citations, third paper has 6 citations, next paper has 2 citations, and last paper has 1 citations. We are ordered them in a descending order. Then the author's H index is what? Those who did in a coursework, can you just tell me? Yeah. जर एखाद्या ऑथरचे 5 पब्लिकेशन्स असतील त्यातले त्याला असे सायटेशन मध्ये किती जणांनी रेफर केले, किती जणांनी त्याचा वापर ऑलरेडी केलाय. त्याला पहिल्याला 9 सायटेशन्स आहेत, दुसऱ्याला 7 आहे, तिसऱ्याला 6 आहेत, नंतर 2 आहे, नंतर 1 आहे सायटेशन. तर ऑथरचा एच इंडेक्स काय असेल? दोज हू डिड इन कोर्स वर्क प्लीज फील फ्री टू इंटरॅक्ट. ओके, येस, आर यू गेटिंग माय क्वेश्चन?
Yes,
See,
sir.
I'm a teacher of mathematics. I would always like to interact. हे बघा, so if you are not able to tell, I will read it. So H index is what? The largest number आहे. म्हणजे काय? यांच्यापैकी सगळ्यात मोठ्यात मोठा नंबर असणार. बरोबर? Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes, such that H articles have at least S citations each. So for example, if I'm saying that my H index is 1, माझा H index जर मी 1 मानला, तर काय पाहिजे बघा? पण तुम्हाला नंबर कसा पाहिजे बघा? लार्जेस्ट नंबर पाहिजे. यांच्यापैकी लार्जेस्ट नंबर 1 आहे का? नाहीये. सो आय कांट टेक इट. सो फ्रॉम विच नंबर आय शुड स्टार्ट? टेल मी who
9.
is 9. Yeah, so if I am saying that 9 is the H index, yeah, then what should happen? Then 9 articles should have at least 9 citations, but there are no 9 articles. How many articles are there? Tell me, how many publications are there? Only 5 publications. Am I right or not?
5.
Yes? Yeah, so this 9 will not be a correct option. Am I right? The next question may come on whether 7 is my H index. If 7 is my
No.
H index, then just keep the 7. Why not? Very good. Why no? Can you tell me?
Again, the
You're on the
7
right track. Tell me.
citations are not there.
Yeah, 7 research papers are not there.
7
Okay?
papers are not there.
Yeah. Then next 6.
No,
Can it
sir.
be
2
6?
will be the answer.
Why?
2 articles are there.
No, just read it carefully. Once again, read it carefully. Read it carefully. Yes, see, just try to substitute this 6. Just try to substitute 6 at the place of this H. Yeah, what I'll say, the H index is the largest number H. Okay, or you can do it another way. दुसऱ्या पद्धतीने करा बघा. ठीक आहे, सगळं विसरून द्या. कशा पद्धतीने करा बघा, मी तुम्हाला सांगतो या ठिकाणी. सो लेट मी जस्ट रिमूव्ह इट. काय पाहिजे बघा मला? 9 का नाही बघा? So 9 articles should have at least 9 citations. Okay, 9 citations असणार एकच पेपर आहे. बरोबर, त्यामुळे ते होऊ शकत नाही. Then next 7. Can it be 7? तर काय पाहिजे बघा मला? The H index is the largest numbers. Suppose H is 7, such that 7 articles have at least 7 citations. Okay, but is also not. So if we come to 6, बघा, याला 9 सायटेशन्स आहेत, म्हणजे याला कमीत कमी 6 सायटेशन्स आहेतच. नंतर याला 7 सायटेशन्स आहेत, म्हणजे कमीत कमी याला 6 सायटेशन्स आहेतच. आणि 6 सायटेशन्स म्हणजे 6 नंबर म्हणजे 6 सायटेशन्स आहेतच त्याला. दॅट मीन्स व्हॉट इज द H index of this author? H index of this author
6.
should be not 6. Wait, once again. Is the largest number H? Who is the number who is satisfying this definition? Tell me. How many articles have at least that many citations? Tell me. There are 3 articles. See, 9. So these are the 3 articles. Am I right? 9, 7, 6. There are 3 articles. They have at least how many citations? 6 citations. Am I right or not? That's why H index of this author is 3. Okay, so what is the reason? Reason is this: so author has 3 publications with 3 or more citations. बघा त्याला किती बघा, it has 3 publications with 3 or more citations. However, author does not have 4 publications with 4 or more citations. Therefore, H index of this author is what? 3. Are you getting? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let me just go further. The next is, by the way, where to find this H index is this. So I have gone in a Google Scholar. Suppose I clicked on a Google Scholar. I hope you are able to see Google Scholar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I will go over here. I'll click on my profile. And here you can just see, for example, this is my page. Here I received till date 34 citations and my H index is 4. So what is the meaning of my H index is 4? Tell me now. I already defined what do you mean by H index. What is the meaning of my H index is 4? Yes. That means my 4 articles, we will have more than or greater than equal to 4 citations. So for example, you can just see that I will just show you 4 articles. Yeah, म्हणजे 4 article ला 4 किंवा 4 पेक्षा जास्त citations आहेत बघा. बघा या ठिकाणी cited by मध्ये बघत जाऊ आपण खाली. ठीक आहे. So you can just see that. So here number of citations are greater than 4. So हे झालं पहिला article. This is also greater than equal to 4. This is also greater than equal to 4. This is not greater than equal to 4. And you can just see that this is greater than equal to 4. Therefore, there are 4 articles which have citations which are greater than equal to 4. Therefore, my H index is what? 4. Are you getting? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So the next it comes to I-10 index. So what is I-10 index? I-10 index means what? It is the number of publications with at least 10 citations. म्हणजे आपल्या किती पेपर्सला कमीत कमी 10 citations आहेत त्याला म्हणायचं I-10 index. So for example, let me come over here. Let me come over. So what is my I-10 index? 1. म्हणजे काय? माझ्या एकाच पेपरला 10 citations आहेत. बरोबर नाही तर बघा मी माझे पेपरचे citations आहेत बघा. So for example, here you can just see that this paper is there, this paper is here, who have more than 10 citations. All of remaining. So as soon as it will gain one more, अशा 9चा जेव्हा 10 होईल तेव्हा माझा I-10 index काय होईल? एक करून किती होईल? 2 होईल. समजते सर्वांना? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So very good. So for example, I-10 index, the I-10 index is the number of articles with at least 10 citations. Okay. For instance, a researcher with I-10 index 3, एखाद्या रिसर्चर I-10 index 3 आहे म्हणजे काय त्याच्या 3 आर्टिकलला कमीत कमी 10 citations आहेत. Are you getting? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah, fine. Then next I will come to the next important mathematical tool whose name is Scilab. Okay, so we are going to talk about now Scilab a little bit. What is Scilab? It is free and open source software to do mathematical computations. Okay, so nowadays, even though you are a student of commerce and management, or let's say social
Accountancy.
science or whatever, yeah, commerce and management, yeah, I will just collectively write down commerce and management, or let's say you are students of, let's say, chemistry, yeah, still you need to do mathematical computations. Okay, so sometimes, so first of all, can you just tell me why we should use software for doing a research? For example, I think 2 days back, Professor Jadhav from Aurangabad, he had delivered a talk on SPSS software. Okay, so can you tell me why software is essential for carrying out a research? Anybody? Can you just tell me a reason? Yes.
It will enhance the authenticity of data.
Very good. The first reason. Very good. What is another? See, earlier softwares were not there. Still, students were doing a research. Yeah. Are you getting? But
To get
nowadays,
more accurate
yeah,
results.
yeah, very good. To handle the complex data, as well as for accuracy, we should use the software. So now you have learned SPSS software couple of days ago. Am I right? Can you tell me whether SPSS is a free software or paid software?
It is a licensed paid
Yeah,
software.
yeah. Very good. And in a country like India, to purchase a SPSS, a paid software is not anybody's. It is not everybody's cup of tea. Yeah, प्रत्येकालाच ते software घ्यायला जमेल याची शाश्वती नाही. So that's why nowadays people are relying more quite often on a softwares which are free and open source. So Scilab जे software आहे बघा. So what is the long form? Or people used to say Scilab means roughly it is scientific laboratory. Okay, it is a free software which you can download. I will also give the website. I will also show the demonstration. It is a free software and is open source. That means that its source code you can define. You can define your own source code in this Scilab and you can give it to Scilab. Okay, so which is very, very useful. And what can be done with this Scilab? We can draw graphs, whatever, 2-dimensional graphs, bar chart, pie chart, whatever. Okay, then grid chart. You can do whatever complex calculations are there. Okay, then you can do statistical analysis, whatever most of the things that you required. For example, t-test, several tests in statistics, then mean, mode, median, then correlation, regression, all these things can be done in this free and open source software. That's why, and see, most of the commerce management and account students as well as social science students, statistical analysis is very much important in order to support their data. Okay, it can be also used for doing a modeling and simulation. So if you have free and open source software, then definitely it will be very much easy for you to do a research. In that case, you don't need to depend on others, some paid softwares. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the link which is being given. Later on, I will hand out this presentation to the coordinators of this webinar so that you can download this Scilab. So let me just show you how does Scilab looks. So I will just go in a Google. I hope you are able to see the screen again. Yeah, in a Google, I will go and I will just write down Scilab. इवन तुम्हाला वाटलं बघा सायलॅब तुम्हाला डाउनलोड न करता तुम्हाला तुमच्या मोबाईल वरती वापरायचंय, तर ती पण फॅसिलिटी आहे बघा. प्रथम मी दाखवतो सायलॅब. सो दिस इज सायलॅब. सो आय विल जस्ट क्लिक इट ओव्हर हियर. ओके, या, अँड सी रिमेंबर द सायलॅब इज बीइंग युज्ड बाय इवन इन इंडस्ट्री. या, म्हणजे असं नाही की हे सॉफ्टवेअर फ्री आहे म्हणून त्याचे रिझल्ट ॲक्युरेट नाहीत वगैरे वगैरे, असं काही नाही. अँड इट्स व्हेरी इझी टू लर्न. इवन द सेव्हरल व्हिडिओज ऑफ लर्निंग सायलॅब, several videos of learning Scilab within 4 to 5 hours in Marathi, in English, in Hindi are also available on one of the website. Let me just show you that website, or let me just state that website. What is that website? The name of the website is this. Here you can learn so many free softwares. The name of the website is Spoken Tutorial. Spoken Tutorial. It is being run by IIT Mumbai. Here तुम्ही या वेबसाईटवर तुम्हाला सायलॅब, समजा तुम्ही सायलॅब तुम्हाला नवीन आहे, तुम्हाला शिकायचं आहे रिसर्च पर्पजसाठी, तर तुम्ही तुमच्या मातृभाषेत देखील शिकू शकता, मराठीमध्ये, हिंदीमध्ये, इंग्लिशमध्ये वगैरे वगैरे. सो लेट मी जस्ट शो यू. आय विल जस्ट गो ऑन गुगल and I will just type down spoken tutorial. Okay, so I will just click it on here, spoken tutorial. Okay, here you can just find out all courses. Okay, so you can just see, even you want to learn Android, how to develop Android apps, you can learn. Okay, that means आपण असं म्हणू शकत नाही की आपण आता परभणीला आहोत, नांदेडला आहोत, एवढे अवघड सॉफ्टवेअर शिकायचे, जायचं कुठं, तसं काही नाही. इवन लुकिंग ॲट, जस्ट सिटिंग ॲट युअर home, you can learn. So are you able to see this? What is this? Scilab. Okay, yeah, so there are 35
Yes,
videos
sir.
are available. I will just click it over here. Then they are saying here languages. See, here you can learn Scilab in Assami language, Bengali language, English language, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, whatever. I will just click on the Marathi and I will just search it. Okay, learning spoken tutorial platform is entirely free. Even one can obtain a certificate from them after you complete the training on Scilab. Okay, so for example बघा, आता मी थोडं मॅग्निफाय करतो हे. या, सो सी हिअर, इन्स्टॉल कसं करायचं. सो दे आर सिंग प्रतिष्ठापन करणे, डाउनलोड कुठून करायचे वगैरे, व्हर्जन कोणतं, कसं निर्णय घ्यायचं वगैरे वगैरे. सो यू कॅन जस्ट सी नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स हॅव बीन. फॉर एक्झाम्पल प्लॉटिंग 2D ग्राफ्स, जे डायरेक्ट व्हिडिओ लेक्चर्स त्या ठिकाणी दिले बघा, व्हिडिओ लेक्चर्स, स्पोकन ट्युटोरियल प्लॉटिंग 2D ग्राफ्स विथ Scilab. And I'm quite sure that this plotting is very much important aspect of researchers in commerce management as well as social science. Okay, so in that respect, this Scilab is very useful and very easy. So let me just show you. Show you how does Scilab looks. Let me just open. I already installed Scilab on my this desktop. Okay, are you able to see this Scilab console? Yes. Hello, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for example, you want to do whatever calculations. So this into, let's say, 4, then I can just see answer. You can just say 3 into 4. Okay, 12. So it can work as a calculator. It can work as a graphical tool. It can be used for modeling and simulation. For example, I think the students of commerce management also know matrices. Suppose you want to so for example, those who don't know matrix, let me just define what you mean by matrix. Matrix is just a rectangular array. Matrix कसा असतो बघा, matrix असा असतो काय, म्हणजे for example, matrix is like this. How does matrix looks like? Matrix looks like this. Suppose my matrix A is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is just a rectangular arrangement of numbers. Yeah. And you might have seen in your research that matrices play very, very important role. So how to deal with matrices now? See, what will I do? I just given a name as A, then I will just use this square bracket. My first row was 1, 2, and for separating rows, I should use semicolon. बघा तुम्हाला मॅट्रिक्स आठवतोय का बघा कसा होता आपला बघा 1 2. I will call this as first row. I'll call this as first row, and this will be second row. Yeah. So if you want to write down this in a Scilab, very easy code. The code is just write down A, write down 1 2, then give semicolon, then write down what 3 4. So it is very easy to play with matrices. Yeah. So I written over here. So once as soon as I click it over here, I will get a matrix. Are you getting? Yes. समजलं सर्वांना? Hello. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And remember, always we used to prepare so many complex tables. So those who don't know what matrix is just a tabular kind of arrangement. And in a mathematics, in particular in subject like linear algebra, we can't study linear algebra without matrices. Yeah, so matrix is very much important, and matrix is a basic data type in this Scilab. Yeah, so I given here hyperlink by clicking on this link. So this link is clickable. As soon as you click this link, you will redirect it to Scilab website. So I already told you that if you don't want to download a Scilab, and if suppose you want to draw a graph after learning a Scilab on your mobile, how to do it? So you just need to write down Scilab Cloud. Okay, so what I'm saying, Scilab Cloud, Scilab on Cloud. म्हणजे तुम्हाला लॅपटॉप किंवा डेस्कटॉपची गरज नाही. तुम्ही तुमच्या मोबाईल वरती ऑनलाईन Scilabची म्हणजे Scilabचे कॉम्पिटिशन तुम्ही करू शकता. So for example, here it is Scilab on Cloud. So it will take some time. Yeah. So are you able to see? So this window is being open. So definitely it will have some disadvantages as compared to a complete software which you used to download. But suppose if you want to perform these practicals in your or if you want to do this analysis, statistical analysis after learning Scilab on your mobile itself, you can do it by using Scilab Cloud command. Okay, not command, Scilab Cloud. Okay, fine. So I hope this much is this rough introduction about Scilab is okay. Let me just go to the next one. Next is very much important aspect about one software whose name is LaTeX. Now the question may come to your mind that how this LaTeX is written like this. Remember, I told you at the beginning of my talk, whatever slide presentation I have prepared it using a typesetting software whose name is LaTeX. Yeah, this is a trademark of LaTeX. That's why it looks like this. There is no any mistake over here. Again, what is this LaTeX? LaTeX is again a free and open software. So it is. So can you just tell me which kind of typesetting tool you are using till date? आजपर्यंत तुम्ही टायपिंग करण्यासाठी कोणते कोणते सॉफ्टवेअर वापरले सांगा बरं. Yes, anybody? Hello. Which typesetting tools you are used? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. MS Word.
Yeah. So please answer MS Word. Yeah, but there are certain problems in MS Word. For example, if you write down different complicated mathematical expressions, for example, like this. Suppose I want to write down let's say like this, x square plus 2 plus sine of x by 2 and so on and so on, the things will become very, very difficult. So that's why this LaTeX is there. So again, the question may come your mind, sir, you are giving a mathematical tool. Okay, so it will be useful for mathematics only. No, most of the students in the campus from School of Computational Sciences, even some students from School of Commerce Management are also using this LaTeX. So again, the question may come your mind, how to learn LaTeX? How to learn LaTeX? So again, as I told you, again, you need to go on a website of what? Spoken tutorial. Yeah. Or there are some nowadays, so many videos are available on YouTube in which you can learn a LaTeX within half hour. Okay. So you can just see all courses here. You need to see LaTeX. Yeah. Here in Marathi also you can learn LaTeX. And even though it's a typesetting tool, so during my first slide, I told you that importance of scientific writing, how scientific writing is very much important. Therefore, LaTeX is one of the mathematical tool for research. So you can just see report writing, mathematical typesetting. Suppose I click it over here, then video about that mathematical typing will open.
लेटेक मध्ये मॅथमॅटिकल टाइपसेटिंग वरील स्पोकन ट्युटोरियल मध्ये आपले स्वागत.
तुम्हाला ऐकू आलं का आता जे काय आवाज आला
Yes,
तो?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can just see.
लक्षात ठेवा आपल्याला ह्याला लेटेक बोलावले पाहिजे, लेटेक्स नाही.
Okay, so here you can, whatever your mother tongue may be, you can learn this LaTeX within half hour. Okay, and the presentation prepared out of LaTeX are very, very beautiful. You don't need to worry about margins. You don't need to worry about the typing such kind of complex kind of calculation, complex kind. So this is not a calculator. ह्या सॉफ्टवेअरने तुम्हाला असं काही समजा 2 गुणिले 4 किती ते उत्तर मिळत नाही, but type setting, whatever you type used to get output. Okay, then it is useful for mathematical and special symbols. Okay, useful for mathematical and special symbols. So next is it can be downloaded from this website, also given, and it can be used online. So this overlap is also one of the best. So techstudio.org, from there you can download that software and you can use it in offline way. But nowadays a very nice facility is given by this overlap website. So let me just tell you how to use it. I'll just go over here in a Google and I will just type down overlap. Okay, and I will overlap. What is overlap? Overlap is an online LaTeX editor. I'll just click it over here. Here you need to first register and then you need to log in. Since I already have an account over here, I will just use it over here and I will just show you. So sorry, mistake. Okay, I will show you how different typical kind of mathematical thing can be done in this LaTeX. Okay, so for example, see, I have prepared my presentation. This current presentation, I have prepared a current presentation in an offline mode of LaTeX. But see here, that much don't fear to such kind of codes. These codes are very much easy to learn. And once I click it here on compile, whatever I did, that output will be displayed over here. So this is an online kind of LaTeX editor, which will be very, very useful for scientific kind of writing. Okay, so it will open. Let me just recompile it. Yeah, so you can just see that I have prepared my notes. So here I can just show you different mathematical objects which can be easily type written by using LaTeX. Where is that? Yeah, you can just see kind of thing. Yeah, so for typing your thesis, yeah, typing your thesis, then typing a research paper. For example, if you take any research paper, most of the research papers in mathematics field, they require your manuscript to be typewritten in LaTeX. Okay, and even even though you're students of commerce and management, it is the right time for you to start learning these two mathematical tools. One is Scilab and another is what? LaTeX. Okay, so that's it from my side. Yeah, one more thing, you can was not knowing algebraic geometry, which is required in my research, but still I have searched on this Swine website. I got number of popular video lectures at there. We can understand the basic concepts and we can learn even different softwares. For example, whatever softwares I written, so or nowadays this is very much important, Python. Is called as the Sage. Also very much nice mathematical tool for doing the research. You can learn this from this NPTEL platform. So this can also contribute a little bit for your research purpose. So that's it from my side. If you have any query at your end, feel free to ask me so that I will be in a position to answer your queries. Kotak madam?
Yes, Sudhir.
Yes, any participants who want to ask any question, queries or doubt, they can ask to sir.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm my proposal. Just I want to ask that this is a mathematics or statistics or what actually stat is a different branch and math it is a static. What is tool the all tools, but it is math.
I'm not getting your question. Where Sadapule madam, can you just recall his?
Sir, your voice is not clear. We are unable to hear you.
That I will able to understand. Yeah, I know so. Hello.
Is it a mathematics or statistics? What the tools? What
No. So this, yeah. Scilab can be this is a mathematical and statistical tool. Yeah. So statistics is also a branch of mathematics. What the students or people who know mathematics, they can tackle statistics in a good way. Okay. So this LaTeX as well as this Scilab, they are being used by mathematicians, statisticians, as well as nowadays even the students from humanities, social sciences, and commerce also. Yeah.
Yes, anybody is having any question next?
Sir, I have one out of track question which is related to the research. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, in research, year can be an independent variable.
In what context? Yeah. So for example, if you take a function, mathematical function, let's say y equal to x square, yeah, then y is a dependent variable and x is a independent variable in that way. So in what context you are asking, that I'm not getting?
So from accountancy area, I'm asking where I have taken ratios one side for different years and I want to compare the ratios with different years. So the years can be an independent variable in this case?
The faculty member from accounts can give a proper justice to the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. You have very scholarly discussion on the subject. The thoughts you express are words of your deep study and experience. And I'm sure that this discussion will definitely give answers many questions in the minds of the listener. I sincerely thank all the dignitaries present at this webinar session, especially our principal, Dr. Vasantara Bhosle sir, Vice Principal Sangeeta Auchar Madam, IQAC Coordinator and Convener Dr. Om Prabha Lohkare Madam. Thank you, Dr. Nitin Sir, the speaker of this session, and all professors and participants. Thank you very much. I declare this session over with the permission of the chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. होते ma'am. Let's start the second session.
Yeah, a very good afternoon. I warmly welcome to all dignitaries, participants, and social media on the third day of 3 days international interdisciplinary webinar on recent trends in research writing. I invite to Dr. Sadafule Ma'am, Assistant Professor at Department of Commerce and Research Center, to deliver the introduction of resource person, Dr. Kanari Sir, Professor and Head of Computer Science Department of Nanopasak Mahavidyalaya, Parbani. Sadafule Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Kote ma'am. Introducing the speaker is an important part of the program. From the introduction, you can see the performance of the invited speaker in their field. Dr. Prakash Khanare is the speaker of today's session of the international webinar organized by the Commerce Department of our college. It is my pleasure to introduce speaker of this session. The resource person for today's session is Dr. Prakash Khanare sir. Seen that way, Dr. Prakash Khanare is well-known personality. He is a renowned researcher and author who has been a professor and head of computer science department at Nanopasak College, Parbhani for the last 25 years. His academic qualification, MSc, Physics Electronic, Aurangabad, Marathwada University, MPhil, Electronics, Kolhapur, Shivaji University, PhD, Electronic, Kolhapur, Shivaji University. His professional and administrative experience, 10 plus years as a vice principal at Nanopasak College, 9 plus years as director of Institute of Information Technology and Management at Nanopasak College, working as an academic counselor for MPhil, Computer Science and Information Technology of Yashwantrao Chavan Marathwada Open University, Nashik, worked as a member of a Board of Studies in Computer Science for SRTMU Nanded and Pune Board. His published work is 26 books on computer science and electronics, 78 published papers in international and national journal. As a research guide, under his guidance, 4 research students awarded PhD in computer science. Presently, 7 PhD students registered to SRTM University, Nanded, completed 4 research projects sponsored by UGC, NCERT. MPhil awarded students are 7. Sir has also presented his research paper abroad, countries like USA, Turkey, Singapore, etc. Sir has been honored with several awards. Here are some of them. Best Teacher of Swami Ramanan Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded, India, 2010. Gold Medal in MSc Physics Electronics Examination of Marathwada University, 1986. Best Participant Award of Shivaji University, Kolhapur in National Conference on Electronics, 1995. Best Citizen Award of Global Society, Delhi. Today, such eminent speaker, experienced teacher, and researchers are here to guide us. Sir's introduction is very detailed, but I have given a very brief introduction. You will get his true identity from his scholarly speech. I am thankful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to introduce such great person. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Please start your session, sir.
Thank you, madam. Hopefully, I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Principal Professor Dr. Vasant Bhosle, Vice Principal of the college, other faculty members of the college. I'm very thankful to all of you for inviting me to deliver this session of using computers in research. So for this session, I have prepared a presentation. So I will be sharing my screen with all of you so that all of you can see my presentation. So I will be sharing my screen. I think the control is on your side for sharing purpose. I think you have to allow me the sharing of the screen.
Hello, sir. You can also, sir, you have a co-host.
Okay.
Okay. You can share your screen, sir.
But there is no button for
you
sharing.
You have already co-host.
Okay. Now whether, okay, let me see. If I, this will stop other screen sharing. So I will say it okay.
Okay.
Are you able to see my screen?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Let me check it again.
Can I have a problem?
Why it is not.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. If you have any technical problem, send me the PPT. I will share from my computer's laptop.
Okay. Let me see initially. If it is not there, if I am not able to do it, then I will send it to you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let me check it out. I will again try. I will share. I will share screen. Now it is appearing. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, good morning, all of you.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, all of you. Good afternoon. We'll be discussing how to make the use of computers in research. So the session is being planned like this. Initially, we will understand what we mean by computers, even though all of us know nowadays what computer is actually. And we have been making the use of computers in various fields, or you can say from the start of the day to the end of the day, we are making the use of computers and mobile phones. So mobile phone is also a kind of device which has capabilities similar to that of a desktop computer. Because whatever the session, this session I am conducting, or I am delivering to you this session by using my mobile phone only. So one can easily understand nowadays the mobile phone has lot many capabilities than that of earlier days. So this session is being planned like this. Initially, we will understand what we mean by computer. We will understand what is hardware, what is software. So we will just revisit the concept of memory in computers. And then we will go for the research process. We will understand what are the different phases of research. And then we will try to elaborate, or I will share my experience in what way the computers can be used in the different phases of the research. So whenever, if you feel that you are not able to hear or if you are not able to see the screen, then simply point it to me in some or other way so that I can understand that the session is not visible or not audible. So we will start the question with the session with the question what we mean by computer. Computer, as we know, it is an electronic device, and this electronic device has to be operated. And whenever we operate this device, then we have to operate it under the control of instructions. So computer is not a human being. Means many times you will find that the human beings can do many things on their own, but for computers it is not possible to do anything on their own. They have to be given instructions, and these instructions we need to store into the memory of the computer, and this computer can accept some data which is input, and the computer will process the data and will produce some output, and this output of the computer is being called as a information or process data. So basically what computer do is that it will accept some input and then it will process the data or input according to the instructions that have been provided to the computer system, and then it will produce some output. And this output, either we can see it on the screen, or we can print it on the paper, or we can store it in the memory whenever we want to reuse the output of the computer system. So you can say that a computer, which normally we call as a digital computer, because in early days we used to have analog computers, but nowadays almost every computer that we have been using is a digital computer. So digital, this word stands for the machine or the electronic machine which can process the discrete data. So digit, it will stand for discrete. So whenever any kind of discrete data can be processed by electronic machine, then that machine can be called as a digital machine. Say for example, we have 5 fingers to our hand. So this 5 finger is a discrete data, because we cannot have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 fingers. This is not possible. If you count the number of chairs in your room, your number of chairs can be 2, 3, 4. So whole numbers. It is not possible that you will have the number of chairs 2.1, 3.1, or 3.5, something like this. So whenever we count the things in whole numbers, then that is to be called as a discrete. And whenever we have the data in the discrete form, then this discrete data can be processed by a system, and that system can be called as a digital system. So it doesn't mean that the computer cannot process analog data, because analog data is always there. Say for example, if we take any temperature of the room or any pressure, then you will find that we can have a temperature 30.5, 30.6. So it is a continuous data, and it is to be called as analogous data. So analog data, whenever you want to process through a digital machine, then it is necessary that you should convert this analog data into digital form, and then only you can process it. So any digital computer will normally perform these functions. The first function that it will perform, it will take some input, and this data is called as input data or input information. This data or instruction can be stored in memory. It has a memory. So computer has a memory, like human beings also has a memory, but human memory is different from that of the computer memory. Human cannot store all of the information at once, but computer can store thousands of books in their memory. So this data or instruction can be stored in the memory, and whenever we require it, then we can use it. They can process the data. So every computer system has a processor, and with the help of the processor, there is some arithmetic processor, there is some logical processor. And by using arithmetic processor, logical processor, it can process the data as per the instructions that are stored into the memory. And then it will convert this information into this data into useful information. So output of the computer is always useful to us, because we want that information to be derived from the system, and therefore we process some raw data through the digital computer system, and we get some useful information at the output. So every computer system can generate some output, and it is possible that for computer system, it can control all the steps. So whenever we need some control over the reading of the data, or over the processing of the data, or over the obtaining of useful information at the output, then all these steps can be controlled by the computer system. So whenever we think of any computer system, then there are already two terms that are being used. One is to be called as a hardware, another is to be called as a software. So we can say that whatever the physical elements actually that constitute a computer system, you can say that it has to be called as a hardware. So for example, if you have a keyboard, if you have a mouse, if you have a central processing unit or a monitor, then all these are the physical elements that constitute the computer system, and therefore that can be called as hardware. And software, you can say that it is a kind of the term that is being used for the organized collection of the data and instructions. So whenever we feed some data, or whenever we feed or give some instructions to the computer system so that we can process the data, then this data and instructions together can be called as a software of the computer system. So whenever you think of a computer system, then there are the two things that are necessary. One is the hardware, another is the software. So if you have only hardware and if you do not have software, then that machine is probably not useful to you. If you have only software and if you do not have hardware, then again in that case also, that machine is probably not useful to you. So you will require both. You will require hardware as well as you will require software if you really want to make the use of computer system. Now this is a slide which will tell you what kind of hardware is there for a computer system. So whenever we think of any computer system, you will see that there is a box for desktop computer systems. So this box will consist of a central processing unit, microprocessor. It will have different other units such as monitor, printer, keyboard, mouse, then the hard disk, optical drive, then the motherboard is inside the box, then the optical drive, processor, RAM, memory. So all these devices, they constitute the hardware of the computer system. So computer hardware is actually the physical part or the component of the computer system. And you will find that many times the computer system consists of the graphic cards also, sound cards also. It has memory, it has motherboard, it has so many other chips also. So all such electronic devices that are being called as a hardware of the computer system. So you can say that these are the physical objects, and these physical objects can be touched by the human beings. So anything that is being physically connected to the computer system, that can be called as a hardware. An input device, some of these devices can be called as an input device, which will translate the data, and this translation will take place from one form to another form. That is the form human understand to the form that computer can understand. So you will find that the human understanding is different and the computer understanding is different for the input information or input data, because humans are different kind of, we are living persons, isn't it? Our understanding of the things is different, and computer is a digital machine, and therefore whenever we want to feed any information or any data to the computer system, then that has to be converted into appropriate form. And this appropriate form, many times we call it as a binary form, where every information is being connected to the computer system in the form of 0 and 1. So 0, that will stand for low, and 1, that will stand for high, isn't it? So whatever the picture you have, or if you have some sound, if you have some video, then all this data has to be stored into the computer system. But before storing into the computer system, you need to convert it into the form of zeros and ones. So there are devices available with the help of which we can easily convert it in the form of zeros and ones. And whenever the computer produces any output, then this output is also in the form of zeros and ones. And in order to understand the output of the computer system, we need to make the use of the output device. So output device is also a kind of a hardware equipment which is used to communicate the result of the data processing that is being carried out by the information processing system. So computer can be called as an information processing system, and it will produce the output. And this result that is being produced at the output, we can understand it with the help of a device, and this device is being called as an output device. Say, for example, our monitor is an output device, our printer is an output device, or your hard disk can be an output device where the information can be stored. Keyboard is an input device, mouse is input device, a joystick is an input device. A hard disk can also serve as an input device. So hard disk can be both, isn't it? It can be an input device as well as it can be an output device. So whenever we think of a computer system, then you will find that the computer system will basically consist of these many blocks. So if you decide to draw a block diagram for a computer system, then it will consist of an input block through which we can connect the input information or input data. Inside the computer system, we have a CPU. Inside the CPU, you have a control unit, you have an arithmetic and logic unit, and you have a memory unit. So all these units are interconnected with each other. And normally this CPU is recognized by another name called as the microprocessor of the system in case of personal computers. And then at the output, we have some output device, isn't it, where we can understand what is the result of the processing of the input data. So CPU, you can say it is a brain of a computer system, which is responsible for all the functions and processes that are being carried out by the computer system. So central processing unit is the most important part in any computer system. It basically consists of arithmetic and logic unit, which will perform all arithmetic and logical operations. The control unit will control and coordinate all computer components. It has memory, and the memory can be either read-only memory, RAM, or it can be read-only memory. That is, random access memory is called as RAM, and read-only memory, in short, we call it as a ROM. So random access memory is a memory where the data can be stored, and it will be stored on the temporary basis. That is, as long as the power supply is on, you will find that the content of the RAM will be there. But once the power supply goes off, then the content of the RAM will be vanished. While read-only memory is a memory where once you store the data, then it will remain there. And whenever the computer system requires that data or instruction, then that can be read from this memory called as a ROM. So these are certain terms that are being associated with the computer system. Apart from ROM, you will find that there are several other secondary memory storage devices that are available. For example, we can have hard disk, or we can have optical disk, or nowadays we can have a flash disk or pen drive, isn't it? And with the help of which we can store the data. Now, one can easily find that whenever we think of a memory of a computer system, then there is a unit that is being used for the memory, and that is being called as a bit. So 10 or 11, that is being called as a single bit. And whenever we have a combination of 4 bits, then that can be called as a nibble. When we have a combination of 8 bits, that can be called as a byte. So when we have a 1 kilobyte, actually it will represent 2 raised to 10 bytes, that is 1024 bytes. When we have a megabyte, then it is 1K into 1K. 1 gigabyte is just nothing but 1K into 1 mega. 1 terabyte is just nothing but 1 megabyte into 1K. 1 petabyte is 1 gigabyte plus 1 into 1K. So these are the units of the memory. Nowadays, you will find that whenever you go for the purchase of any computer system or even a mobile device, then you will find that we need to understand what is its memory capacity. Because nowadays, the capacity of the memory is increasing because our data is also increasing. And therefore, we need a larger memory capacity for any computing device. Whenever we think of a software of a computer system, then you will find that the system can have 2 softwares or 2 types of the softwares. The first type is being called as a system software, and the second one is called as the application software. So system software, you can say it will provide the basic non-task specific function of the computer system, and the application software that is being used by actually user in order to do or in order to perform a specific task. So system software will consist of operating systems. So for example, when we say that I'm having a computer system with Windows operating system, then that Windows operating system is basically a system software, and it is a fundamental software. Without operating system, it is not practically possible for you to make the use of any computer hardware. So operating system is required. There are different types of operating systems, so you can select as per your requirement. Some of them are license free, some of them you have to pay the license fee. Application software, you can say that it is a program, or sometimes it is a collection of program, which we call it as a software package. And this program will accomplish a certain task. Say, for example, when we make the use of Microsoft Office, then this is a set of programs, and this set of programs is normally used to perform the regular Office task. So these are the terminologies that are being associated whenever we think of any computer system. Now, once we understand what we mean by a computer system and what are the different terms that are being associated with the computer system, now let us go to the research part, and we will try to understand, or we will discuss in what way the computers are useful in the research process. Now, if you try to prepare a diagram for the research process, then you will find that the research process will consist of different phases. So for example, we can start with identifying the problem. So initially we need to identify what is the problem. And once the problem is being detected, then you can make the literature review. And once you make the literature review, then you can define, or you can set your research question. You can set the objectives, and then you can go for the design of the research, and then you can go for the collection of the data. In many forms of research, you need to collect the data, and then you can analyze the data. And once you analyze the data, then it is necessary that you can draw some useful conclusion from that analysis. So whether you go do your research in science or in arts or in commerce, you will find that normally these are the phases that are being associated with the research, isn't it? The first thing that you need to do is the identification of the problem. The second thing that you need to do is to make the literature review. The third thing that you need to do is to set the research question. You need to set the objectives, or if you are making the use of hypothesis in your research, then you need to set the appropriate hypothesis. Then you have to see what are the different study designs, isn't it, or research designs, isn't it? Many times you have to select the appropriate sample if you are doing some sample research, isn't it? Or if you are collecting some data, then you need to make the use of the tools in order to collect the data. And then once the data is being collected, then you need to analyze the data. And analysis is very important part of any research process. And then once you analyze the data, then you need to prepare an appropriate report, isn't it, which is the outcome of your research. So let us explore if these are the different phases of the research, then in what way we can make the use of computer in each and every phase of the research. So identification of the problem, this is the first thing that the researcher has to do whenever he goes for any kind of research. So problem identification is the first step. Research, you can say, is a scientific way of solving the problem. So it is a systematic process. So whenever you want to solve a problem, basically you must identify what is the problem you research. So you must be in a position to identify, evaluate a problem, and you also must know what are the possible solutions. isn't it, for the given problem. So how a researcher can identify a problem? So problem can be identified by different ways, isn't it? Say, for example, if you have some day-to-day experiences in your real life, then through those experiences, it is possible that you can identify some research problem. If you face some difficulty in accounting or in processing certain duty, and if you find that at existence there is no solution to such difficulty, then you can think that as if a research problem. I will give you one example. One of my students was a few years back, isn't it? One of my students has been visited to the photo studio, and the owner of the photo, he want to identify his photo, isn't it? The photo which was taken a few days back. So the photo owner, what he do is that he has given whatever the collection he was holding, isn't it, up to that date, isn't it? All that collection was handed over to the candidate, and he asked him to search for his photo. So this was a simple task, searching a photo, but the candidate found that searching a photo becomes very difficult if there are large number of photos available with you. Then every time you need to check the image, and then after checking the image, you need to decide whether you have to classify it either in S category or no category. So doing it manually, isn't it? It becomes very difficult. So he thought, why not to make the use of some software where automatically classification can be done. Such experience, isn't it? Such any real life experience when you came across, isn't it, can define your problem or can make an intention to the research problem. So we can make the use of the computers. See, if you came across a certain research problem, many times it is difficult for us to understand what is the existing status of the problem. We may find this as a problem, but if you check it on your computer system, so you can make the use of the computer system in order to check the existing status of the research. And if you check it, then many times you will find that the problem is being solved, or the problem is being solved only up to certain extent, or there is some scope of research, isn't it? So computers can be used, isn't it, in order to identify the problem, in order to check the existing status of your research problem. And by making the use of computers and internet, it is possible that you can check the status of your problem. So initially, whenever a researcher decide a problem, then deciding of the problem plays very important role. Because if problem is not properly set, then you will find that after a few days or after 2 years, after 3 years, you will find that changing of the problem becomes difficult for a researcher. So appropriate framing of the problem is very important. If you have some guide, and if your guide is experienced guide, then probably he is in a position to guide you in identification of the problem. You can tell him what you think of a problem, and then probably he can give a shape, appropriate shape to your research problem. Also, you will find that there is a lot of confusion, isn't it, in the research problem belonging to certain domain area, isn't it? Say, for example, if you are doing a research in computers, then it is necessary that your research problem must belong to your domain of computer science. If you are doing a research in, say, sociology, then it is necessary that your problem should belong to the domain of sociology. If it doesn't belong to the proper domain, isn't it, then in that case, you will find that the research direction committee may create a problem, and in that case, it is possible that your problem may get rejected. So always a research student can make the use of the computers in order to identify any research problem. Once the problem is being identified, then the second step that every researcher has to perform is the literature review. In early days, even I remember that when I started my doing research in 1990s, then I used to go to Central University, Hyderabad, and Pune University library. I used to visit Pune University library in order to perform the literature. Because in those days, journals were available only in the library. So literature review is very important step because it will give you overview of the previously published work on the specific topic that is being identified by you for your research. So in early days, one has to go to the libraries, but nowadays you will find that almost all libraries are available online, and even all journals have their websites available online, and therefore it is not necessary for you to visit to the library or to go to the library. You can simply, by sitting at your home and by making the use of your computer system, you can make the literature review. So you will find that there are certain journal websites which are free. So almost all the content of the paper can be easily downloaded. But there are certain websites where the content is not free. So in that case, you have to purchase the license to access the content of the journal. You will find that many good libraries in colleges and universities, they will provide the facility to the researcher that by taking the appropriate login and password from these libraries, you can access the content of the good journals. So one can find, as shown in this diagram, that your introduction or structure can be broad, isn't it? But as you proceed further, then you will find that it becomes narrow, isn't it? So when you belong to the category or when you go for the research problem, then actually what you are doing is that you are searching your content in a very narrow way, isn't it? So in the start of the research, isn't it, you can think of a big background, isn't it, where a lot of contents are available. Go on reading, isn't it? Go on studying, and then ultimately you will filter out many things, and finally you will come to a specific problem, isn't it, for which you can start your research. So a lot of reading, a lot of study is required in the initial phase of the research if you really want to pursue good research. Now, once the literature review is done, isn't it, then you can probably in a position that you can state your problem. So you have to state your problem very clearly, isn't it? In the synopsis, it is necessary that you should make your problem statement. You should write your problem statement. So problem statement is a concise description of an issue to be addressed. So what kind of issue you are going to address? Say, for example, if you are doing a content analysis of an image, then you need to say what kind of content analysis you are going to perform. Or if you have been provided a large set of images, then out of which category of images you are considering in order to perform analysis. So we can say that a researcher is in a position to understand the gap between the current state and the desired state of the process. Because if you perform the literature review, then through that literature review, you will be in a position to understand what is being expected and to what extent the research has been carried out. So if you want to do the next thing, isn't it, then it is necessary that you should do some kind of research. You should develop some algorithm, or you should make some experimentation with the help of which you can solve or you can carry out further the research state of the problem. So one can think of doing the synopsis for the research problem. You need to write the objectives, the clear-cut objectives that what you are going to do in your research. And whenever think of preparing the synopsis or whenever you think of writing the objectives, then all these things you can easily perform by making the use of computer system. So as I said, that large number of tools are available with the computer system. You can search the topic by making the use of the search engines such as Google. You can access the website by making the web browsers such as Safari or Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. So by making the use of such tools, or whenever you want to prepare any synopsis, or whenever you want to write the research objectives, then you can make the use of the tools such as Microsoft Office in order to write the synopsis. Once you prepare the synopsis, and once your elementary writing of the synopsis is over, then you can think of the research design. You will find that the research can be of variety of types, isn't it? So for example, we can have a qualitative research, we can have a quantitative research. So if you are doing some kind of research where the content is being analyzed, or if you are doing some historical research, or if you are doing ethnographic research, then such research can be called as a qualitative research. It is possible that research can be classified into the action research. So if you are a teacher and if you want to do some kind of research on your teaching itself, then this research can be called as an action research. Sometimes we make the use of the quantitative research. So quantitative research such as experimental research. So if you are doing some research in science where you set up some experiment, and if you set up some experiment, then in that case, you will find that the research can be called as a quantitative research because we are collecting the quantitative data. If you are doing some survey and if you are collecting some data, then in that case also, you will find that the research is a quantitative research. So there are different forms of research, and depending upon the form of the research that you are using in order to solve your research problem, you need to make use of appropriate research design, isn't it? So if you are doing some experiment, then your design will be experimental research. Say for example, in computers, many times we write algorithm. So it is a creation research. If you are making a survey then and collecting some data, then it is a quantitative research. So appropriate research design has to be selected by the researcher so that whatever the steps that he carried out further will give him the fruitful result. If the research design is not appropriate, then you will find that the result of the research may not be a fruitful one. So research design will refer to the framework, isn't it? The framework of different methods and techniques that are being chosen by the researcher. So every researcher must give concentration on what kind of design he has selected. And these things must be discussed with your referee or with your guide initially, in the initial phases only, so that whatever you perform, isn't it, will be a fruitful one. Otherwise, you will find that many times you need to backtrack, isn't it? And then you need to redesign your research in order to have a fruitful outcome. So designing can be performed by using computers. A large number of tools are available with the help of which you can select the appropriate design, you can search the appropriate design, and then you can select the design which is suitable for your research in order to solve the problem. So for example, if you are doing some sample research, then it is necessary that you should perform a sample survey. A sample survey, you can say, it is kind of a method that is being used for collecting the data. So when you have a large number of population, then out of the large number of population, you are selecting the few representatives from that population. And when you select the few representatives from that population, then you can perform the survey for this population, and then you can draw the inference, and this inference can be applied to the entire population. So selection of the sample must be appropriate, and it is possible that whenever you want to perform the survey, then survey can be performed online by using the different forms that are available. Online forms are available. Say, for example, we have Google Forms. We have a online technology that are available by the Microsoft also. So by making the use of these tools, it is possible that by sitting at your college or by sitting at your home, you can design these forms. You can send these forms to the variety of people, and you can collect some data from those people. Once the data is collected, then the data has to be analyzed. So data analysis is very important part of the research. The data, as I told you, it can be either a quantitative data or it can be a qualitative data. So if the data is in the form of numbers, then you can say that it is a quantitative data. And if the data is in the form of images or sounds or videos, then in that case, we can call the data as a qualitative data. So whenever you want to analyze the data, then there are different tools available. Say, for example, you can make the use of Excel package, or you can make the use of Python programming language. You can make the use of MATLAB software, or there is a statistical package, SPSS, for social sciences, or you can make the use of the Scilab, isn't it? So many of these packages are free available. Say, for example, Python is free, isn't it? Scilab is also free. And you can easily download these packages on your computer system. And initially, you have to learn about these packages regarding how to make the use of these packages. And then you can easily use these packages or softwares on your computer system in order to analyze the data. Now, once the data analysis is performed, then you should be in a position to draw some useful conclusion or fruitful conclusion from the analysis of the data. And such conclusion need to be presented or need to be reported. So you can prepare the presentations, or you can prepare the research reports of your research. So research reports can be prepared in the form of the synopsis. You can prepare a paper for publication, or you can prepare a thesis of your work. And all these documents has to be created initially in the digital form only, because nowadays the old ways of writing is being over, and whatever is the faculty that you are belonging, it is necessary for you to prepare a digital document, and such digital document can be reviewed by your guide, and it is possible that you can easily make corrections in these documents. In early days, people used to write on paper, and these papers need to be submitted to the referee or guide, and guide used to read it, and then with the red pen, he used to make certain corrections in the writing. But nowadays, it is possible that all such corrections can be made digitally with the help of computer systems. And if you want to present your research, then such presentation is also possible. So, for example, I am making some presentation to all of you. And what I am doing is that I'm making the use of PowerPoint presentation in order to present this topic. So research presentation can also be performed by making the use of computer systems. So several software packages are available. So for example, you can make the packages such as OpenOffice, which is freely available, or you can make the use of MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint. And with the help of these packages, you can create a document, you can create a presentation, and such a document can be sent online by making the use of email, or you can make the use of other digital technique in order to send the document. And these documents can be evaluated, or these documents can be presented to the audience which is far away from you. So this is possible, isn't it? So computers can be used. You will find that if you refer to each and every cycle of the research process, then nowadays it is possible that we can make the use of computers. Even large number of websites are nowadays available. Some application softwares or tools are available, apps are available. which will also guide you regarding how to prepare a paper or regarding how to perform your research or regarding how to evaluate your research. Nowadays, you will find that whenever you go for the submission of any paper or thesis to the university, then you will find that the university will check the plagiarism, isn't it? That is, what is the similarity index. So before you actually submit your paper or your thesis to the authorities, then online there are several websites available with the help of which you can check what is the similarity score of your document. So if the similarity score is higher, say for example, if it is greater than 20% or 25%, then that is a red signal for you. In that case, you can make several corrections in your writing work without affecting the meaning. It is possible that you can rewrite your work. And even some softwares are available which will help you to change your sentence. Means without changing the meaning of the sentence, you can change the words in the sentences in such a way that the similarity index will be dropped down. Whenever you refer to any figure or image in a book or on a website, then it is mandatory for a researcher that he should draw that figure or he should draw that image again, isn't it, in his own way. And that own figure can be given in thesis. And in that case, you will find that the similarity index will be dramatically dropped down. So every researcher has to take care. And you will find that from the day where you start doing the research or when you start thinking of doing a research, I think you need to make the use of your computer system. And till your Viva is over, isn't it? External Viva. Even external Viva can be conducted online nowadays. And you can deliver your online Viva by making the use of such communication packages such as Google Meet or Zoom software. So during each and every phase of the research, you can make the use of your computers. There are large number of groups available. There are large number of communities available. Say, for example, if you are doing a research in face recognition in computer science, you will find that on computer, you can easily check how many groups are working on face recognition in the world. So there may be, say, 10 universities, 15 universities simultaneously working on the face recognition problem. So you can communicate with them, you can send email to them, and you can understand what is their level of research. Because once you are able to collaborate with other universities or with other research groups, then you will find that your research will be more fruitful and will be more recognized by the people. Also, you will find that you can make your research as an open source project. Because once you make your research as an open source project, then you will find that the people will be able to look into what you have done, isn't it? And they will suggest you. And when they will suggest you, then it is a kind of a help. Means just like your research supervisor or your guide will help, isn't it? So in that way, you will find that there are social communities available. And all these social communities are there to help you. They will not cost you anything, isn't it? But they will really give you some useful suggestions. Suppose you are stuck in your research at certain point, because many times researchers do not find the way, isn't it? And he got stuck in certain problem. And in that case, he also find that the guide is not helping him, or he is not able to understand what guide is telling him. In such a case, you can take the help of these other community people, and you will find that they will give you solution, because already many of them must have been gone through such process. And therefore, these people, the people which are available on the social media, you will find that they people will help you, they will suggest you, and probably you will get some way out of this situation. So thank you, friends, for viewing this session. Hopefully, you have understood in what way we can make the use of computer systems in doing the research. Now, I will declare this session is being open for the questions, and if somebody is having any question or query, then you can freely ask the question to me.
All participants, you have any questions? So please
Hello.
ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sir, you said that there are some software with the help of them you can reduce the rate of plagiarism. So can you please tell the name of that software?
Okay. If you Google, isn't it? If you are sitting on a computer system, and if you Google, means you go on the search engine Google, and then you will find that there is a keyword called plagiarism checker. There is a keyword. You type the keyword plagiarism checker. If you type this keyword plagiarism checker, then you will find that about 1.69 lakh different links will be available on your computer system. So,
okay, sir.
And then you will find, that some of them are useful, some of them are not useful. So you have to check it carefully. Some of them will cost you, means they will ask you to pay some fees for it, but many of them are free, isn't it? So they will mention that it is a free plagiarism detector or free plagiarism checker. So you can check whatever is suitable for you, isn't it? And then you prepare one simple file, or say one chapter from your research thesis or one paper, and then get it checked, isn't it? And if you are happy with the result, isn't it, then you can again use it, isn't it, for your purpose. Also, you'll find that in almost every university or in the colleges where the research centers are there, you will find that they have nowadays purchased a plagiarism software, isn't it, which is being prescribed by the UGC. So such software is also made available to the research students whenever you want to check your paper or thesis before submitting it to the authorities.
Have a next. Have a next question. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kannane sir. You have a very scholarly discuss on this subject and giving us information about computer hardware, how to do research process. I think this all information is very useful in PhD coursework. So I'm sure that this discussion will definitely gives answer many questions in the minds of the listeners, researchers, and all participants. So thank you so much, sir. And I sincerely thank to all dignitaries present at this webinar session, especially our principal, Dr. Vasant Bhosle sir, Vice Principal, Sangeeta Ahuja madam, and IQAC coordinator and convener, Dr. Om Prabha Lokare ma'am. Thank you to Dr. Kannane sir, speaker of the session, and all the process and all the professor and participants. Thank you very much. I declare this session over.
Thank you.
With the permission of the chairman, and I deliver the validated function to Dr. Om Prabha Lokare ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, one and all. I welcome you all in the 3 days International Interdisciplinary Webinar on Recent Trends in Research Writing, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell and the Research Center, Department of Commerce of Late Sau Kamaltai Zamkar Mahila Mahavidyalaya Parbhani. At first, I would like to introduce the webinar Actually, the idea of organizing this webinar came in the mind of our principal, Dr. Vasant Bhosle sir. He invited eminent resource persons for deliberations on various topics. And these resource persons are from various fields. And the names of these resource persons are Dr. Syed Azruddin sir, Dr. TV Munde sir, Dr. Veer sir, Dr. Jadhav sir, Dr. Vani Laturkar madam, Dr. Darkunde sir, and last but not least, Dr. Khanare sir. The objective of the organization of this webinar are: the webinar intends to upgrade knowledge, skills, and opportunities in various fields. Then to make aware about new or changing trends in research writing. Then to promote research activities among teachers. Then to introduce teachers with current trends and latest information in their subjects in relation to research writing. Then to give information about peer-reviewed journals, e-journals, again UGC listed journals. Then to acquaint teaching staff with new software and its usages. And last one is to update the knowledge of the teaching staff. Actually, we have decided to organize this activity on online mode due to COVID-19 situation. Still, we need to take precautions. We have received 42 responses, almost from all the states of India and abroad, for this webinar. Over here, this is the valedictory program of this webinar. And to this valedictory program, I welcome all of you on behalf of my college. Now I would like to read the report of 3 days International Interdisciplinary Webinar on recent trends in research writing, conducted during 18th May to 20th May 2022. On 18th May, Dr. Syed Azruddin sir delivered his keynote speech on innovative trends in academic research. Then Dr. TV Munde sir delivered his talk on applications of analytical tables, graphs, charts in research. Then on 19th May, Dr. Veer sir delivered his talk on research ethics. Then Dr. Jadhav sir expressed his views on applications of statistics in research with SPSS. Then Vani Laturkar madam dealt with thesis writing. Then on the last day, that is on 20th May, in the morning session, Dr. Darkunde sir delivered his talk on some aspects of research. Then Dr. Khanare sir delivered his talk on use of computers in research. So this is the brief report of 3 days International Interdisciplinary Webinar on recent trends in research writing. Over here, now we have arranged participants' remarks as well. For this, first of all, I request Dr. Mahesh Vakodkar sir, research students, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, to record his remark. Dr. Mahesh Vakodkar sir.
Welcome all. I'm Mahesh Vakodkar. Doctor just really to become a regular.
Mahesh sir, you are not audible.
Your voice is breaking.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm audible or not?
Yes, sir. You
Audible, huh? Just thank you very much for giving me a chance for giving feedback. I'm just attending all 3 days sessions, particularly start from Dr. Syed Azharuddin sir, which is my guide also in Aurangabad. This topic is suggested. They told that the topic how you can take the topics. Then Dr. Munde sir is told about tools and techniques and table etc. Then day 2 session, Dharmaraj ethical issues, and he told many of the plagiarism like these issues. Then session second, Om Prakash Jadhav sir, application of statics SPSS. He told very details. It is useful for research. Then third session, the second day, Vani Laturkar madam, given a detailed discussion of the topics. All session given me some suggestion regarding the hierarchy of the topics. Then the
this third day, Nitin Dargunde sir, what I had said, it's given a good information of tools and H index, I10 index rather. And this after that, Dr. Prakash Khandale told about the computer science, detail of these computers and the use of tools and all these things. Thank you very much for giving a very valuable for me the information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, the next participant, Mr. Yasir Saleh Ali Almonefi from Yemen. I request him to put his remark. Is Yasir here?
Yasir sir, are you there? Yasir Almoni sir.
Yasir Almoni sir, are you there?
Hello sir, hello sir, good afternoon sir.
Please sir.
Hello sir. You listen me, hear me?
Yes sir, you are audible.
Okay, please, 1 minute. 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Sir, you are not visible.
Yasir sir, please
Yes,
on
sir.
your video.
Yes, 1 minute, please. I am sorry, I am very sorry. Okay, I am ready. 1 second, please. Good afternoon all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon all. Thank you to give me chance to speak about talking about the international webinar. I am sorry, sir. Before I start, I must thank my guide, Dr. Bosnitin, principal of our faculty, Latso Kamalti Jamkar Mahila Barbani, and Danishwar Sira, coordinator of our center research, and all, I think, all speakers in the international three days webinar. It is very informative international webinar. We have got very useful information about research writing and ethics of publication and research. Also, computer application in research. It was very informative. It is very informative webinar. We hope we get again seeing this webinar in the future. Thank you so much, all speaker and the team of webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now I request Jayasri Pachade madam, research student from our college, to put her remark regarding this webinar. Sorry.
Audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Dais, eminent personality on the Dais and of Dais, chairperson of this valedictorian function. I am thankful to program conductor to give me an opportunity to stand before you to share my ideas about the interdisciplinary 3 days webinar conducted by Latso Kamaltai Zamkar Mahila Mahavidyalaya Parbhani. In these 3 days, we got an opportunity to test delicious dishes of different subjects on recent trends in research writing. In first day, this webinar topic is Innovative Trends in Academic Research by Honorable Dr. Syed Azruddin sir. Very nice information about thesis writing. Another very knowledgeable session by Dr. T.V. Munde sir on application on analytical tables, graphs, charts in research. Second session in first day, research ethics by Dr. Dharmaraj K. Veer sir. We got very knowledgeable information about thesis writing. Second day of this international disciplinary webinar, topic is application of statistics in research with SPSS by Honorable Dr. Om Prakash Jadhav sir. We got very fruitful knowledge from him of data collection, analysis of data. Honorable Dr. Laturkar ma'am delivered practical knowledge about thesis writing, synopsis writing, research methodology. She has given answer of participants' question. Today's session is very nice for PhD scholars. Some aspects of research by Dr. Nitin sir. In his speech, he got knowledge about how to write research paper, H index, 10 index, Skylab, mathematical tools for research from him. Last session by Honorable Dr. Khanani sir on use of computer in research. He have given very information knowledge for us. We also experience good human attitude of staff of the late Kamaltai Zamkar Mahila Mahavidyalaya. Even they personally took care of all the participants. So I am very thankful to Principal Honorable Dr. Khosle sir, Program Conductor, all staff and technician. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now I request Akil Al-Huzri from Amen to record his remark regarding this webinar.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yes, I'm Akil. Yes. Hello. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Akil Al-Hugari, foreigner student. I'm research scholar at Letsau Kamal Jamkar Baharbani Flighted SRTM University. Firstly, thank you for this webinar because it's very important for important research writing. Secondly, thank you for my guide, Fiki Bosley. Thank you for all speakers in this webinar. Also, thank you for everyone attendance in this webinar. Especially, thank you for all people of India because I think the India is second my country. Especially thank you for Syed Azharuddin. He talking about invitation trends in academic research. This topic is very important for any research scholar. Thank you for Dr. Ambahekar. He is speaker in application of statistical and research with SPSS. I get is more information in this topic because the SPSS is very important for us. Thank you for Dr. Nata Derenki. He is a speaker in aspect of research. He is give us more information how I can order the publish paper or writing in the paper. Thank you for everyone. He speak in this webinar. I get more information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I'm very much thankful to all the participants for their remarks regarding this webinar. Here I would like to make one announcement for all the participants. See, You will get certificates of the webinar after submitting the overall feedback of the webinar, and the feedback link will be shared after the completion of the valedictory program of this webinar, and the feedback link will be shared on our WhatsApp group. You can fill the feedback form and then you will get your certificates. Now I am here to express the vote of thanks. Here I am very much thankful to the chief patrons of the institution, Honorable Shri Hemantraoji Zamkar Sahib, the President, Nutan Vidya Mandir Education Society, Parbhani, Honorable Advocate Shri Kiran Raoji Subedar Sahib, the Vice President, Nutan Vidya Mandir Education Society, Parbhani, Honorable Shri Abhayji Subedar Sahib, the Treasurer, Nutan Vidya Mandir Education Society, Parbhani, Honorable Shri Vijay Raoji Zamkar Sahib, the Secretary, Nutan Vidya Mandir Education Society, Parbhani, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Ji Takalkar Sahib, the Joint Secretary, Nutan Vidya Mandir Education Society, Parbhani, Honorable Dr. Vasant Bhosle Sir, the Principal, late Sau Kamaltai Zamkar Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Parbhani, and Honorable Dr. Sangeeta Auchar Ma'am, the Vice Principal, late Sau Kamaltai Zamkar Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Parbhani, for granting us permission to organize this 3 days international interdisciplinary webinar on recent trends in research writing. I express my sincere thanks to all the resource persons for their delicious deliberations. I also express my sincere thanks to all the participants for joining us. Then I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Dinesh Dhaneshwar sir, co-convener of the webinar, for providing technical assistance. I express my sincere thanks to all the faculty of Commerce Department for successfully handling all the sessions. Then I extend my sincere thanks to all the teaching and non-teaching staff for joining with us and making this event a successful one. Last but not least, I extend my sincere thanks to those who helped directly and indirectly for making this event successful one. Thank you. Thank you one and all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
With the
ma'am.
permission of the chair, I declare that this webinar is over.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you.